The one that left us with some questions at 32 for me, Ran, were the Cincinnati Bengals. We know they took Shamar Stewart at 17, and productivity-wise, those were the questions. You mentioned it over draft weekend, 4.5 career sacks, 1.5 sacks last season, but he looks the part, and they need help there. Demetrius Knight, the linebacker they got in round 2. He'll be 25 years old, but a really good player. They drafted another linebacker later. I thought they perhaps could have targeted safety. They do have some needs at safety. They didn't do that. And then they wrapped things up with Taj Brooks, the running back out of Texas Tech. So all in all, you okay with my ranking here of 32nd out of 32 teams for the Cincinnati Bengals?
Yeah, I am. And just for the fact of I'm not sure that they came away with plug and play starters, right? And especially with their first 2 picks. And we all know what Shamar Stewart is able to do and what he's capable of doing from an athleticism and body movement type of thing. He is more of an upside pick, right? So if you really hit on him, then you may have something here. However, like we talked about on HQ, we're talking about a guy who had 4.5 sacks. And typically, if you don't get the sacks in college, you're not getting them in the pros. And then you go with Demetrius Knight. What is Demetrius Knight's initial fit in this defense? Right? You still have Logan Wilson. You still have Jermaine Pratt. Now, I know the system is new with Al Golden coming in as your new coordinator, but where is he going to fit in initially in this defense? Are we talking about taking a guy in the second that's going to probably have to wait a year to be your starter, or is he going to beat out Demetrius Knight? Is he going to beat out Jermaine Pratt out the gate? Those are the questions we don't know.
Dylan Fairchild, the interior offensive lineman out of Georgia they took in round 3. This might be their best pick. I think he has a chance to start right away. But ideally, you want to hit on the first and second round picks. You don't want to wait till round 3 to find that guy. But we'll find out together. But for now, we had him ranked 32. Next up, at 31, I had the Cleveland Browns here. And we've talked to the quarterback situation a good bit here. Obviously, the Dylan Gabriel round 3, circle back in round 5 at pick 144 and get Shedeur Sanders. One of the things, and that was their last pick in this draft, by the way, one of the things that I thought they might do, Ran, is they didn't draft an edge rusher. Now, they got Mason Graham after that trade down, and they do deserve credit for trading down, getting a first next year, and getting an extra second-round pick this year. All those things I applaud. But I thought in addition to Mason Graham, if you wanted to get a player like a Braden Swinson, for example, at LSU, he was available in the 5th round when they took Shedeur. They also could have gotten a wide receiver. Someone like Jalen Royals could have been available around the range they took Dylan Sampson, the second running back they drafted. I do understand they have running back needs. What do you think about the Browns here, who I have ranked 31st?
I probably liked it just a smidge better, but I still think with those first 2 picks, there were a little bit better value. Like, I understand the pick of Mason Graham and what he can do and what he can bring to that defensive front, especially in Jim Schwartz's system, just getting off the ball, attacking and being disruptive. I think he fits that mold, but I don't think he's going to help improve the overall pass rush. Now, the Schlesinger pick in the 2nd round for me was again a little bit of a reach. And we liked him and some have him number 1 if they're off a ball linebacker, some number 2. But my big question in this is, okay, where's the fit? Now, I know JOK has had some injuries and they don't know if he's going to be in or out of the lineup. But if he's healthy, where's the fit? Unless the plan is to move him to Mike, because he is 6'3", 240 pounds and can run, which is still kind of a fit, in Schwartz's defense. Now, the Harold Fannin pick for me, I kind of like that one because now you're adding a tight end, a F tight end weapon, another tight end weapon that can give you some more 12 personnel looks. And then the 2 backs, again, we're talking about a wide zone system where, you can put these young guys in and get some early production out of them. I'm not even going to talk about the quarterbacks. We'll let that one sort itself out in due time. But I like this class just a little bit better. I do think there were some questionable fits in there a little bit, but I just think the draft class in totality was a little bit better.
And the Harold Fannin pick is worth mentioning because that could be their version of finding their wide receiver, because as you mentioned, he plays primarily in the slot. He can play outside. You can line him up a lot of different places, and perhaps he's even more versatile than a wide receiver they thought they could get there. Fair enough. I get that. And again, I didn't dislike the draft class, but we have to rank them all. Someone has to be last and next to last. Next up for me at 25th on our list, Pittsburgh Steelers. And I was in my feelings for a day and a half or 2 days, and the more I thought about it, the more I felt better about what we were doing here in Pittsburgh. And I say we because, I'm part of the organization brand. Derek Harmon at pick 21. They desperately needed help along the defensive line. They have Keanu Benton, their former second-round pick from a few years ago, and he's been fantastic. And Cam Hayward is in his mid-30s, and he could probably play another 3 years, but at some point you have to think about life after him. And Derek Harmon is a grown man. Now, I like Kenneth Grant a little better, like Walter Nolan a lot better. Those young men were long gone, so I understand how different teams have different grades on players, and I'm all for that. Steelers in round 3 because the second-round pick was DK Metcalf, part of the trade to the Seahawks. In round 3, they took Caleb Johnson, the outside zone runner out of Iowa. I think they hope that he's going to be something like Le'Veon Bell was coming out of Michigan State. Michigan State, at the time, Le'Veon was a second-round pick. He played at 240 at Michigan State, if I recall correctly, ran, and dropped about 20, 25 pounds and became the player he was in Pittsburgh. I don't think Caleb Johnson has that upside, but we'll see. We'll see. That's the whole point of this. Jack Sawyer was a home run Steelers pick in round 4. And then they got my guy Will Howard, the quarterback out of Ohio State, the national champion you see there. And I'm going to say this, Rand. I've talked myself into this. Will Howard at pick 185. 185 is the new 199 for these quarterbacks, baby.
And these were the ones you were waiting on. This is your team. And, we had those conversations all throughout the draft, sitting in the green room and as to what they were going to do. But I agree with you here. I'm a big Captain Jack fan. So love the pick and had been saying for a while that this guy just felt like an AFC North, player to me. And boom, there he is, winds up being in the AFC North. But to your point, on the back taken in the third round, and you were saying Le'Veon, I absolutely loved Le'Veon coming out. And Le'Veon's tape when he came out was the tale of 2 different years, right? The year before, he was really good. And his last year at Michigan State, he was trying to show everyone that he could make people miss, which turned people off because you had a big 240-pound guy that was in the open field trying to, juke and shake, and as opposed to lowering the shoulder. But we saw what Le'Veon became. He became, a first-team All-Pro and led the league in rushing and all that jazz. So hopefully they know what they're doing. I know Arthur Smith has a pretty decent track record in terms of the value of running backs. Having gotten the former BYU guy in the 5th round while he was in Atlanta, Tyler Algier, and turned him into a 1,000-yard rusher, when most people didn't see or understand the fit. So I'm going to trust those guys here and feel like trust that they have who they feel like fit their systems the best.
Yeah, and Caleb was actually getting some first-round buzz. Caleb Johnson was early in the college football season. And to follow up on your Le'Veon Bell story, Le'Veon didn't test well coming out. And sometimes it doesn't matter, especially at the running back position. You don't need your running back to run 4.3. You see a lot of times guys who are 4.55 guys or even higher in the open field. Typically, you don't see guys high catching them. I'm pretty sure Derrick Henry was a 4.5-ish guy. I have yet to see anyone catch Derrick Henry. And when they get there, they still don't know what to do. So there's a lot to feel good about if you're a Steelers fan. You just take a deep breath, and that's what I did. All right, we're ranking every single draft class from the 2025 NFL Draft. We just talked about Team 10, the Kansas City Chiefs. 2 teams trying to catch them in the AFC are inside the top 10. And we're going to start at number 9 with the Baltimore Ravens. And I gave them an A. I don't know why I didn't give them an A+, because they got Malachi Starks Carthon, your guy, at 27. You're going to put him next to Kyle Hamilton? That's unfair. Then they got Mike Green at pick 59, a first-round talent who had some off-field concerns, but he is a first-round edge rusher, top 15 type edge rusher if he gets things right off the field. Emory Jones Jr. in round 3, played right tackle at LSU, has a chance to start at guard. We'll see whether it's the left guard or right guard position and how it shakes out for the Ravens as we get through the process there. But athletic player who bookended Will Campbell and was really good at times. And I'll also mention they drafted the kicker, so we'll see how that works out. And got LeJontay Wester, a speedy slot receiver who can also play outside out of Colorado. They got him on day 3. What do you think about this class, Rand?
Listen, first of all, they had 11 draft picks, and they used all 11. So let's give them credit. They had 11 picks, and they used all 11. But for me, you could just stop after getting my oldest son, Malachi Starks Carthon in 1, and then being able to get Mike Green in 2. That draft class was a win with those two in particular. So you got me there. I think it should have been A+. They would have been higher for me.
Yeah, and fair enough. I can't push back too hard on that. I mentioned the Ravens as a team that needed to get better to chase down the Chiefs, and they've done that.